Welcome to this BJCP Style Study Session video series. I am Matt, and this is the introduction to this set of videos or this series on this channel. Before we get started, I want to give the disclaimer that I will likely give in every video. I do not represent the BJCP in any way, shape, or form. The BJCP does not authorize nor endorse this set of videos or this series. This is all part of my self-training towards BJCP beer certification. In fact, I'll tell you more, I'll tell you everything right now what this series is about. That's what this video is about. I've already started filming this series and editing it, and it occurred to me I should probably make some kind of introduction video to what all these the following or the videos that will follow are about. So I wanted to make this quick introduction. Like I said, as you probably gathered if I didn't say it directly, I am studying for my BJCP beer certification. And part of that is to familiarize myself with all the styles that not only could appear on the test, one of them will appear in my tasting test, but I will eventually, most likely, judge every one of these styles somewhere along the line, assuming I do this for a lengthy amount of time. So while I'm already a craft beer fan and enjoy a lot of specific styles, there's not every style that in the guideline you could name to me and I'd be able to tell you its characteristics, its kind of highlights. And that is a large part of what this video series is going to be about. Each video is going to focus on a specific style, and I'm going to read through the guidelines, and then as I'm reading, highlights will appear on the screen somewhere around here, this area, of each characteristic that the beer would be judged on in a BJCP sanctioned homebrew competition. Once I get through that, I'll have a copy of those characteristics that are on the screen with me as I initially taste a sample beer. I'll be going through the highlight list to see what I do and possibly don't find in that particular beer. And then I will get to the actual BJCP score sheet, the long form, and I'll be filling it out as well as I can in every area. If you're not familiar with these, you're concentrating on aroma, appearance, flavor, mouthfeel, overall impression, along with identifying some off flavors, explaining how you might be able to remedy that, along with a few other things, actually quite a few other things that we'll be going through as this series progresses. So far, in the beers that I have bought for this series, I have about half of the styles covered in the commercial examples, and I will go through these details in the videos as well. The style guidelines that can be found at bjcp.org, which I've failed to mention up to this point. The style guidelines have commercial examples, several examples of every style, and I've managed, of the beers I bought so far, I have about half of them covered. About half of those I've gotten recommended examples straight out of the guidelines. So they will be, for this video series, they will be examples of BJCP deemed a very good, excellent, maybe close to 50-point example of that particular style. For the other ones that I don't have the commercial examples for, I have done my best to find at least something that by name or by description fits into the category. For instance, I actually do know that this one is, I don't have the recommended cream ale. I did not find one of the recommended or the commercial examples in the guidelines, but I found a local beer that calls it by name a cream ale. So that is what I'm going to be judging. May not be the perfect 50-point example by BJCP standards, but it's calling itself cream ale, so I'll be judging it against what its style is declaring, and that is a large part of judging. I'm going to get beers that people think are a particular style that just may not fit for one reason or another. They might have missed a mark on it, or it didn't age well, or some other kind of thing. In real world judging, you're not going to be judging 45 to 50-point beers every time. And that's another facet or angle of this series, to be, critical is not the word, be thorough. Write down what you recognize, be it good or bad, Does it match style? Does it not match style? That's part of my training, and that is part of what I'm going to be documenting in this series as we go. Along with all that, right now, in some very rare cases, I hope there to be more in this series, I do have some homebrew examples that I'm going to be judging as well. And that's what I really want to practice on. Again, real world homebrew examples. I only have, I don't even know how many, 3 or 4 at best right now. I hope through my homebrew club and through competitions with their extra bottles and whatnot, be able to get more and have those on hand the deeper we get into the styles and the further we go in this series. So you've also probably picked up in a lot of this intro so far, as much of it as this is about learning the styles, which is a very large part of this series, it's also about improving my judging skills. I think skills is the word I'm looking for. I want to be able to describe things better. I want to increase my vocabulary. I want to be able to find finer points in a beer as I go. So I think there's a strong possibility that my first few videos are going to be very, they're going to look very generalized in terms of judging as compared to the ones that wrap up the series. I don't know that's going to happen, but that's kind of a goal I'm trying to do. I want to look at the first video and the last video and see that there's a very noticeable improvement. I want to learn, I want to train myself, I want to just get better as a judge. That is the other big portion of this. I'd say this, for me, this video is about pretty much half and half. Half learning the characteristics of each of the styles in the guidelines, and the other half is improving the most I can as a judge as we go. So I believe that is the gist of this series and about everything I wanted to cover in this intro video without getting into the finer details of the guidelines, the style highlights, and tasting and judging, because that's what the other videos that follow are going to be about. In fact, like I said earlier, some of the videos are already done. So if something in this wasn't clear, doesn't make sense, or there's some questions, hopefully the videos that follow will start to fill in those gaps. So before I wrap up, let me just say I do have videos planned all the way out to style 26. I made the cutoff at historical beers. That's where I'll stop with the videos, for at least for the training purposes. So, and everything in there, the A, B, C, Ds, and the whatever ranges within each of those styles, those will be covered as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. And along with that, hit that alarm bell so that you're notified when each of those come out. And I think that is about it. So, let me just say, if you want to follow along with the guidelines, visit bjcp.org, download a copy there, or visit their site that they're slowly transitioning over to, their new site, and just check it out directly out each style on the website. The link to all that, if you don't already have them, will be in each video post as I release those. So I think that is finally it. I do want to say thank you for watching, and I'll be back with the first style study session video very soon.